Good morning, my friends. I'm out in my backyard and I have to show you that my zinnias just started to bloom. These are zinnia seeds. Um, they're, the plants and the flowers, but the seeds were from last year's zinnias that I collected some of the heads, and this winter I just came along with those dried up heads, seed heads, and just opened them up and scattered them all along Juicy Fruit Island here. And as you can see, I have a nice little cluster here. And then on the other side of Geoben Jr., I have another little cluster coming up. Let me show you some of those heads. Are just so pretty. And this is a volunteer pinta that is just, the bees are busy. I don't see any this morning, but they have really been coming out and having a good time. And they match, doesn't it? It matches also pretty, the two colors together. Anyway, I just thought I would give you a quick tour. Today is the 20th of April, and it actually is the 20th anniversary of my mother passing and heading up to heaven. So anyway, this is the this would be the southwest corner of the yard. I had to work that out in my head. And you can see the Plumeria are all leafing out. And let me see if I can show you some of where they're starting to send off bloom stalks. In another couple weeks, there'll definitely be some blooms on them, because over on this side, just go slowly so I don't make you sick. Down at the other end of the northwest corner, that Plumeria already has blooms on it. You just pull you back. There you go. But all along this side, these are the Everglades tomatoes, and I think you can see that I have got lots of little tomatoes back there. And this is all along my back fence. So Rick was leaving to go to the grocery store before I came out, and I said, definitely don't buy tomatoes. I will have hundreds of these little Everglades over the next several months. But anyway, you can see, and I also have, these are my grow bags. Let me get out of my own light. But these are two grow bags I have that I put garlic in there and a sweet potato slip. And the sweet potato slips are growing in amongst the tomato, and of course the tubers are forming down there. And also I took a garlic and broke it up and put, I think, 6 or 7 little, what are they, heads, little cloves in each one. But you can see the sweet potato vine growing up this crepe myrtle. Look at that. I could eat these, by the way. They are edible. The Amaryllis, look at this. This is what happens to them afterwards. And you can see that the blooms die. And normally in years past, I've just cut them off at the base and then thrown them over the back. And this year I want to cut them off at the base, chop them up, and then feed them to the worms. It's more recycling, isn't it? Look, there's more tomatoes. Can you see those? I think they're bigger this year than they have been in the past years. And more clusters of them. And I think it's because of worm castings and also my super soil. I've been, adding some stuff to it. The mango, these are two mango trees. There's one here and then there's one about 10, 12 feet down. but and they won't bear this year. They're too young. This is like their third year. It takes about 7 years for them to bear. So we have a few more years to wait. I only had one red Amaryllis. When I originally bought them, there were 4 apple blossom and 1 red, and this red is from the original red. I only had 2 blooms on it, but lots more apple blossoms, and again I'll take those stems and cut them and feed them to the worms. My Florida red maple is just starting to come out, just starting to put out some leaves, and this is why they call it a Florida red maple, because it will come out looking like this, but then the leaves will turn green. Regular, just a everyday crepe myrtle that will bloom kind of a mauve-y color, really pretty. And you have to keep these in control. These are the suckers that keep coming off the bottom. That's the other red from the original one bulb. Let me swing over here and show you the other mango. And you can see it's fighting for space there with the Plumeria. Let me come back a little bit. I have a staghorn fern there in the corner, and I wish I knew somebody who had a huge oak tree or something that was so solid that they could take that. It's probably 40 to 50 pounds, and we keep it propped up, but I just, you'd have to hang it on something that was really, really sturdy. So the Plumeria here on this side, I think you can see up there. See, it's starting to bloom. And I am going to have a huge amount of blooms this year on every one of these leaves. Everything is starting to leaf out finally. More Everglades tomatoes. This was just, again, these were all volunteers. I didn't plant any of these. These were just seeds that blew in and or blew from one to another. This is the pear tree. This is the Asian pear, and I've had the hardest time with this. This came from Bottom's Nursery in Georgia, and I bought 2. Neither one of them were really, they shouldn't have sent trees that had roots that wound around the inside of the pot. That should have never been. You don't buy something that has a girdled root to it, otherwise you're going to have problems. This is the one, they replaced one. It came out, it still didn't look very good, and we had a hurricane and it snapped it off. The union wasn't very good. So this is the second one. It's limped along. If it makes it, I will be very surprised. It was a really late coming out. But, at least they replaced one, and I didn't complain after that. So in the future, I won't go with mail order things. I want to see what I'm getting. Staghorn ferns are coming out in full bloom there, looking really great. And the tea plants above it don't look too bad, do they? They made it through the winter. They need to be cleaned up a little bit. Hibiscus here, and there's one further on behind me. This is the Blue Nile agapanthus that will just be covered in blooms in probably about another month or 2 months, something like that. Next to it is the Chicago cold hardy fig that when I bought them, they were two little pieces that came from their name just went out of my head. My favorite seed company, Baker's Creek Organic Seeds in Missouri. Anyway, they were selling little cold hardy Chicago fig plants, and again they came bare root, and each one was about 4 inches. And I have one here, and it struggled for 2 years, and now seems like this year it is going to go great guns. And you can see, look at all these leaves on it. I doubt there's any fruit, even any little nodules yet. But it's going in my grow bag, so I'm real pleased with that. And I'm trying to mound up cardboard and grass clippings and all sorts of things all around it and on top of it, so I don't have to come out here and weed constantly. More agapanthus. By the way, all of my agapanthus came from, this main one was probably maybe just one plant, one section. And it has, over 15 years, has multiplied and multiplied. Here's the other cold hardy Chicago fig. And I'll show you, it goes down to, you can see it's coming up from the bottom too. From bottom also, I'm sorry. My other hibiscus, it's still kind of struggling. I came out and gave it a flush of a super soil. I sprayed it really heavy with super soil, and I'm hoping that it will really, spring back. Now, this center area where I was just showing you my zinnias, this is where the junior is. This is my Geoben Junior, and this was where I did the experiment. And I had this has only been a month now and a week and 3 weeks, so a little over 7 weeks. And let me take you way down in there and let's see if we can see anything. Look at the worms. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to have to spread some of this around. Isn't that lovely? Wow, nice stuff. And while I was doing some weeding and what have you, I found penta starts, and so I just real quick, I didn't have a pot to put anything in, so I real quick brought them over here and I stuck them on the other side of Junior. And I thought, well, okay, stay. It's like I've always had animals, so here, stay. That's it. And they did, and they seem to be surviving quite well. And so I used a few of them. I'll show you the front in another video. And but I'm redoing my front yard, which is much needed. So anyway, this seems like a good spot to just stick things and hold them for a bit and make sure that they're okay. At the end here is a brown turkey fig. This did not bear last year at all. It sent up another one. And I'm hoping this year to actually get some figs. I'll turn you around here. I don't want to get you in the sun too bad, but this is senior down here. This is my Geoben, the big one. So this is senior, and I started adding to it again, and you can see I'm about maybe a third, maybe about a third of the way up. Yeah, probably. This is the area right in front of our bedroom, and agapanthus as they divide on the big one. I just keep taking them and chopping them and moving them around. It takes them a year or so to get acclimated, and then suddenly they start blooming as well. This is a cranberry hibiscus, and every time it starts to seed, it sends out flowers. I try to go along and collect some, and oh my, look at this. Oh, that's a beautiful stem. Once it dies back, then it just forms all those nice seed pods. So I'll come out and collect those. I haven't planted coleus in probably 5 years, and yet it still keeps coming in my garden. When we had a hurricane last year before, something like that, I had stems that, branches that broke off, and so I just stuck them in the ground, and as you can see, they took. And this, by the way, is what a seed pod looks like. And they will all come up and mature and develop. And I'll have a big cluster of Plumeria. Anyway, I think that's probably enough of a tour for the day. As you can see, it's beautiful, beautiful. Let me get to the blue sky here. Isn't that lovely? Now you're getting way too much sun, but the moringa look good, all of them. Everybody just has a good, healthy look for spring, including the weeds and the grass that I just can't seem to pull fast enough. And but you know, that's all part of being a gardener, is that you always have a list of things to do. So it's a beautiful Saturday, April 20th, and my birthday was the 14th, so it was last Sunday, and had a wonderful birth week. Afterwards, had a nice week also, using all of my new tools that Rick gave me for my birthday, including 4 bags of mulch. And wasn't he kind to me? Anyway, I about broke my back, but the front is starting to look a little bit better. So for me here in Windermere, Florida, and all of my trees that are coming out, my peach tree is leafed out, and everybody's looking like they're ready to show off for the summer. I will say I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, and remember, garden what you've got. Bye-bye.